destroyed. If you have a single block of water sitting on the ground and place a block on it, rather than being completely removed, the water will simply be pushed aside and then spread out. And the water in this mod is always adjusting position. So if, for example, you decide to dig a hole in some water, rather than just magically filling in that hole, the water level will slightly lower throughout that entire body of water. And because blocks will now displace water rather than simply getting rid of it, you can even push water around with things like pistons. And I'm sure this could lead to some pretty creative contraptions. And one of the coolest things you can do with this mod is connecting a cave to a large body of water. In this example, I connected a cave to the ocean, and slowly the cave is going to fill until it's full. But again, this water moves in a pretty realistic way, so it'll leave things like air pockets for you. And here's another example of me connecting a cave to a larger body of water, this time not the ocean, but just kind of like a big pond. And over time, that water's going to completely transfer into the caves. And all that'll be left on the surface is just a dry crater and a couple of puddles. Another thing you'll notice with this mod is that water will actually pass through blocks that, well, should be passable by water. For example, whenever water falls on leaves, it'll just go right through them. It'll also flow right on past things like fences, and this is just another effect that makes water feel a whole lot more realistic. Now, this mod is listed as an alpha on CurseForge, so there's a decent chance you could run into some bugs while using this mod. For example, I'm not sure you'd consider it a bug, but waterfalls literally do not exist if you have this mod installed. They just end up turning into a small puddle. But anyway, I just thought Water Physics Overhaul was a very unique mod, and I definitely wanted to show it to you guys, because I've never really seen another mod like it. I'm willing to bet you could make some pretty cool survival mod packs with this mod installed. And you know, whether or not you plan on actually playing a world with it, I think you guys should give it a try, because it's a lot of fun to mess around with. That's gonna be it for this video, and let me know what you thought about this mod in the comments below. As I said, I find it pretty interesting, and I'd definitely like to see your opinion on it. And if there's any other mods you think I should take a look at, be sure to comment them below, and I'll absolutely take a look at them. And anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and until next time, thanks for watching. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be showing you some Minecraft mod combinations that work absolutely perfectly together. What I'll do for each of these is take 2 or 3 mods, and on occasion a shader or resource pack, and combine them to get an even better result. And first I'll show you one of the mods in that combination in particular on its own, then I'll add the second one so you can see how they behave together. Each of these mods is currently available for the newest version of Minecraft, so as of now you should be able to use any of these. If you're interested in downloading them, you can find them all in the description below. And anyways, let's go ahead and get into the video. Alright, for our first combination, we're going to be improving spiders in Minecraft. In my opinion, spiders definitely have some missing potential in vanilla Minecraft, and you'll probably agree with me after you see these mods. And the first one we'll be installing is Spiders 2.0. And this mod will allow spiders to crawl just about anywhere. They can crawl on walls, crawl upside down, anything they need to do in order to reach you. Plus, they're a little bit faster, and overall it makes them far more dangerous and a lot more exciting to fight against. And in addition to the Spiders 2.0 mod, we're going to add the Scary Spider Resource Pack. And what this resource pack does is make spiders a little bit bigger and gives them actual joints. And truly, the difference between the vanilla model and this one can be quite shocking. When you see this thing coming after you, you'll probably feel actual fear. And if you're playing 1.12, you could even use the Mobens mod instead of this, which I think is even better. So if Mobens becomes available for 1.16 or even newer versions of Minecraft, I would absolutely recommend that combination. Next, we're going to be using a combination of mods to improve nether portals in Minecraft. And the first of these mods is Immersive Portals. This has for quite a while been one of my favorite mods available for the game, because it's just truly amazing to be able to walk straight into the nether and straight back without even having a loading screen. Visually, it just looks amazing, and I consider it to be one of the most impressive mods for the game. And in addition to the Immersive Portals mod, we're going to be using Nether Portal Spread. Now, while playing vanilla Minecraft, you've probably noticed around ruined portals that you can actually see netherrack coming through the portal into the overworld. And this makes it seem as if the nether does in fact leak into the overworld through portals. And Nether Portal Spread makes it so the portals you activate will actually do this. You can customize just how quickly the portal will spread into your world and how far, and this is going to be an amazing combination with the Immersive Portals mod, because now not only can you see into the nether, but you can also see it expanding into the overworld. Now, our next combination is one that's going to completely change how forests look in your game. It's truly a night and day difference compared to vanilla Minecraft, and I personally just love how it looks. And the first mod we'll be installing is Dynamic Trees. Now, Dynamic Trees on its own already completely changes how each individual tree looks. With this mod installed, rather than having most trees just have a trunk surrounded by leaves, each individual tree has its own set of branches, and it looks like a true, fully grown tree. The trees grow dynamically, and can never actually stop changing, and the entire forest itself can continue to spread and shrink depending on the conditions of your world. And the mod we'll be adding to this is better foliage. Better foliage makes it so leaves in Minecraft are no longer quite just square, they actually have some shape to them. This makes forests feel a lot more dense than they did before, and not only does it do this to leaves, it also adds some shorter grass to the ground, and adds some falling leaves from trees. And like I already said, the combination of these two mods completely changes forests. It's to the point that it changes them so much it's probably not for everyone, but for those of you that do like it are probably gonna love it. Next up, we're gonna be combining a couple mods to improve third-person view in Minecraft. And in my opinion, the third-person view in the vanilla game is quite lacking. It's honestly just not very good whatsoever. I could personally never see actually playing with it because first person is just far superior in this game, and I think these two mods do a pretty good job of changing that. And the first one we'll be installing is simply titled Better Third Person. And what this mod does is allows you to actually walk in a full 360 motion when you're in third person mode. No longer are you stuck just staring at the back of your character. When you walk backwards, you'll sprint towards the camera. This gives you far more movement flexibility when using third person and is just superior in essentially every way possible. I mean, it makes playing in third person mode actually enjoyable. And in addition to this mod, we're going to be installing Shoulder Surfing Reloaded. This mod is going to allow you to completely customize the camera part of third person. With this mod installed, not only can you play looking over your right or left shoulder, you can also change how high the camera is, along with how far away it is from you. So now you can get the camera into the exact position that you'd like to play in. And combining the Better Third Person mod and Shoulder Surfing Reloaded, you can truly customize third person to be exactly how you would like it. Now, for our next combination, we're going to be improving the ambience of the Nether. And I actually already think the Nether since the 1.16 update is absolutely amazing, but this is just going to make it a bit better. We'll be making improvements to both the visuals and the audio. And to start this one off, we'll be installing sound filters. And what this will do is make it so whenever you're in the Nether, you'll hear echo everywhere. And this makes the already awesome ambience in the Nether just that much better. It really just makes it feel like this big, open, scary place. You'll hear ghasts in the distance echoing, making their terrifying sounds. Everything's just a lot more intimidating. And in addition to this, I've installed the Kappa shader. And obviously, because it's a shader, it's going to completely change the visuals of the Nether. But the Kappa shader does something I haven't really seen another shader do. It adds this really crazy looking fire effect to the air. It makes it look like you're going to burn just walking around out there. And the combination of these two mods makes the Nether truly feel like a horrible, awful place you would never want to go. It's awesome. Next up, I'll be combining a couple mods, which will give you a new way to get a bunch of new tools for you to use, and a good way to show them off and keep them with you. And that first mod is the one and only Tinker's Construct. This is probably the most popular tool customization mod ever created for the game, and it truly allows you to create an absurd amount of variations for swords, pickaxes, axes, really anything you'd need to use. No longer are you stuck just using, say, diamond tools. You can use whatever you'd like, really. And naturally, when you have this mod installed, you're gonna have a lot of equipment on you, and you're gonna need somewhere to put all of it. And what better place to put all of that equipment than on yourself? And in order to do that, we're gonna install the Tool Belt mod. With the Tool Belt mod, you can craft as you would expect a tool belt, which you can add up to 9 items to after upgrading. 2 of the items you insert into the tool belt will be displayed on your waist, so you can proudly show off those beautiful Tinker's Construct weapons. And plus, as I mentioned before, you can carry up to 9 of those tools with you, so you can have one ready for really any situation possible. It's a great combination of mods because with Tinker's Construct, you're going to create a lot of different tools, and with the Tool Belt mod, well, you can carry all of them with you. Next, we'll be taking a look at a combination that'll make exploring caves quite a bit more difficult and a whole lot more terrifying. First, we'll be installing realistic torches. What this mod does is makes it so whenever you place a torch, it only lasts for a certain amount of time. By default, the time a torch will last is 1 hour, but you can actually configure this to be as low as 1 minute. So now you're gonna have to manage your torches and make sure they don't go out on you while you're exploring, because that's gonna make it a lot more difficult to find your way back home. And what could we do to make this far more terrible? Well, all you have to do is simply install the Total Darkness mod. This mod sets the minimum darkness level all the way to 0. So in other words, it can get pitch black. In vanilla Minecraft, you can at least somewhat see where you are even without a torch, but when you have this mod installed, there's absolutely 0 chance. So when the torches start going out on you, it's gonna get very scary very quickly. This mod combination is gonna add a new layer of difficulty to exploring caves, and essentially change that entire experience from being quite boring to very nerve-wracking. Now, this next combination on the list is probably the most basic, but for those of you that have had issues with slab slabs in the past are probably gonna love it. You probably know that slabs can sometimes be quite the pain to build with, and these two mods are gonna go a long ways towards fixing that. The first of these two is the double slabs mod, and this mod gives you a variety of slab related features. For example, two different slab types can now be placed together. You can break one half of a slab or the other rather than the entire block, and you can place each and every one of these slabs vertically. Overall, your slab building experience is going to be a lot less frustrating when you're playing with this mod installed. And in addition to double slabs, I've included torch slabs. With this mod installed, as you would expect, you can now place torches on slabs, and this also extends to lanterns. And this isn't something that you really think about installing until you're playing and you notice how annoying it is when you try and place a torch on a slab and you simply just cannot, and immediately you're going to want this mod installed. And combined with the double slabs mod, there's really not much you can't do with slabs. At this point, you practically have a full creative freedom with them. Now, one of the last combinations I have for you guys today is one of my favorites. You've probably seen it in one of my videos before, and this is what I consider to be the best way to currently upgrade caves in Minecraft. Vanilla Minecraft caves are honestly quite boring to explore, and the 1.17 update just can't arrive quick enough, so in the meantime, we're gonna upgrade it with these mods. And the first mod we'll be installing is Young's Better Caves. This is, at this point, the best cave generation mod available in terms of just making the cave shape actually interesting. It doesn't add any new blocks or anything like that, that's what the next mod will be for, but it does add a massive amount of variety to the way caves can generate. You'll come across tiny crevices, giant caverns, underwater caves, and much more, and honestly just one of these features would be more than vanilla caves. And next we'll be combining the Cork mod, and Cork is easily one of the best mods out there, and it has an absurd amount of awesome features. I would totally recommend playing with it. One of those amazing features is making caves far better. It adds stalagmites and stalactites to the game, a bunch of new stone types, several different cave biomes, and unique rare areas to explore. You'll find that when you have this mod installed, you'll actually want to spend a lot of time in caves. And the third and final part to this combination is dynamic surroundings. This mod, like Cork, has a lot of features, but there's a few that I'm going to be focusing on in particular. First, it adds reverb to caves, and in my opinion, it's the best reverb that you can get from a mod. And second, you'll actually be able to hear water rushing. And this doesn't sound like it'd be a big deal, but when you are in game, you will notice right away when you hear it, and it sounds amazing, and honestly, you'll wonder why it's not in vanilla Minecraft. And there's quite a few other visual and audio changes you'll probably notice from dynamic surroundings, and the combination of these three mods will completely upgrade caves to the point that waiting for the 1.17 update won't be quite as terrible. Now finally, for the last combination I have for you guys today, we're going to be making a complete drastic change that looks really nice to the world generation. And the first mod we'll be using is Biomes of Plenty. It's the most popular terrain generation mod available, and I still think it's easily one of the best, considering it adds over 50 new biomes to the game that are each a ton of fun to explore. And the mod we're going to be combining it with is Terraforged. In my opinion, Terraforged is the best realistic terrain generation available for Minecraft, and when you combine it with Biomes of Plenty, it's truly amazing. Most of the areas that you explore look as if they were created in World Painter, and it is a complete change from the regular Minecraft terrain generation. Do keep in mind though, you're going to want to play at least 20 render distance simply because of how this terrain looks. You'll want to be able to see more of it in order to get the detail. There are several different generation presets you can choose between, and one of them will make it so the terrain is a bit smaller and closer together, so you don't have to play at quite as high of a render distance. But you know, if you can, I would still definitely recommend it. And yeah, this combination's gonna give you some of the best terrain generation you've ever seen in Minecraft. Alright, that's gonna do it for this video. I do hope you guys enjoyed, and if there's any other Minecraft mod combinations you think I should take a look at because they work perfectly together, go ahead and let me know, and I will absolutely take a look at those. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and until next time, thanks for watching. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you 10 more Minecraft mod combinations that work perfectly together. I made one of these videos back in May and you guys really enjoyed it, so I decided to make another one. And just like the last video, I have 10 combinations for you. Each one contains at least 2 mods that in my opinion just complement each other very well. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into the video. Alright, for the first combination, I'm actually going to be going back to the first combination of the previous video. And for that one, I combined a Spiders 2.0 with the Scary Spider Resource Pack. And that was already a great combination. I just love that it makes spiders go from a relatively disappointing mob to a very interesting and scary one. But this time around, I'm going to be replacing the Scary Spider Resource Pack with Fresh Animations. I keep using this pack in my videos because it truly deserves it. It makes pretty much every single mob it touches look absolutely amazing, and the spiders are no exception. Most notably, you'll notice that the legs will now move separately from one another. Plus, when they sprint after you, they almost just hunch down, which is truly terrifying to witness. And in combination combination with Spider 2.0, which allows them to crawl pretty much everywhere and makes them a bit faster, you just may find yourself actually running away from spiders. So really, it's up to you whether you'd like to use fresh animations or the scary spider resource pack. You really just can't go wrong either way. For our next combination, we're going to be installing 2 eating related mods. The first of which is a helpful mod most of you have probably heard of, and this is Apple Skin. And this mod just lets you know the exact quality of the food you're about to eat, which can be very helpful if you're in a situation that you're trying to conserve your food. And the other mod we'll be installing along with this is eating animation. And this is a really cool mod that I came across recently, which adds an animation to pretty much every food item in the game, making it appear as if you're actually taking bites out of that food. Every type of food is animated pretty much exactly how I'd expect it to be, which is definitely a good thing. And I mean, it makes eating food fun in the game, which I would never even expect it to be. Normally you just eat food and get on with whatever you were doing. But overall, this combination just makes eating food a whole lot more satisfying. Next, I'm going to be combining 3 mods that are going to make combat in your game extremely exciting. And let's face it, vanilla Minecraft combat is pretty basic, which can be a good thing, but at the same time, it gets a little repetitive. And the first of these 3 mods we're going to be installing, which absolutely changes that, is the Epic Fight mod. And this is just a huge mod, adding new animations, weapons, abilities, and much more to the game. This mod could be fit into its own video just because it adds so many new features to the game, and alone makes combat very entertaining. And in addition to this, we're going to be installing enhanced visuals, mainly for the blood effects that it applies to your screen when you take damage, along with the improved third-person mod, which allows you to walk in a full 360. And this is going to be very helpful with the Epic Fight mod, because normally in combat you're stuck behind your character, and this mod's going to give you a lot more flexibility when you're moving around. Overall, these 3 mods combined are going to make combat a pretty amazing time in your game. Next up, I've got a combination of 4 mods that are going to make villages feel just a little bit more special. And these mods include village spawn point, villager names, random village names, and bountiful. Village spawn point is simply going to make it so each time you create a world, you'll start off inside of a village. Villager names gives a random name to every single villager you'll come across. Random village names is going to give a random name to the villages themselves. And bountiful will allow you to complete some tasks for the villages. In combination, these mods will make the villages you come across feel just a little more special. Now, for our next combination, we're going to be adding some pretty cool dungeons to the game and making their inhabitants just a little bit more difficult. And the mod that I'll be using to provide the dungeons this time around is Young's Better Dungeons. And as of now, this mod provides 3 different dungeon types for you to explore. And in addition to this, we'll be installing the Champions mod. And if you've ever played with Infernal mobs, this is pretty much the same thing. It'll occasionally give random abilities to mobs in the game, and you'll know that you've ran into one of these mobs because you'll see potion particles on it and it'll have an actual name. And generally, these are going to be a bit more difficult to fight for you, and they'll provide some additional loot. So when combined, this combination is going to give you some great dungeons to explore and make them a little bit more difficult. Next up, I'm going to be combining the Traveler's Titles mod with pretty much any biome mod you would like to use. So this could be Biomes of Plenty, Oh the Biomes You'll Go, Traverse, really anything you'd like. And adding Traveler's Titles to any of these mods is going to make it a little more interesting to play, because each time you enter a new biome for the first time, that biome's name is going to be displayed across your screen. And this will be especially helpful when you're using a mod that adds new biomes to the game, because you'll actually know what the biomes are called. And sure, you can press F3 and check what it's called in there, but this just makes it feel like more of a feature. For our next combination, we're going to be combining 2 of the best physics mods that I've come across in a very long time. And the first of which is the physics mod, which I've made a multitude of videos covering because I just love it that much. Whenever you destroy blocks, they'll fall apart into smaller pieces, and you can configure this to work perfectly for you. If you want tiny pieces, you can do that. If you want to make them last longer, you can also do that. And in addition to the physics mod, we're going to be installing the drops mod. And this is easily the most realistic item drop mod that you can find. Whenever you toss out an item, it'll bounce around and collide with the environment as if it's an actual object. So when you have these mods combined, pretty much everything is going to have physics applied to it at this point, and these kinds of mods are just always a lot of fun to play with. There is one drawback, however, with this combination, and that's the fact that the drops mod hasn't been updated in a little bit, so you're gonna have to use an older version of the physics mod with this in order to use them together. But even in its older versions, you still get most of the main features from the physics mod, so I wouldn't consider it a complete deal breaker. Up next, I've installed a couple mods that are gonna make playing in first person a little more interesting. The first of these is First Person Model, which allows you to see your own body while you're in first person. And you can actually customize this mod for yourself. So for example, if you want to move the camera because it doesn't quite look right, you can do that. And in addition to this mod, I've included camera overhaul. And this mod makes it so as you move around, your camera will kind of tilt in the direction that you're moving. And this just adds a very interesting, I guess, immersive effect to the game. It's certainly not for everyone. I did get some comments when I showed this in a video before saying that it made them motion sick, but personally, I think it's a very interesting effect. And this mod can also be customized. So for example, if you don't want the effect to be quite as strong, you can turn it down, or if for some reason you want to, you can even increase this to some pretty ridiculous levels. And once you have both these mods installed, playing in first person is going to be a relatively new experience. Now, one of the last combinations I'll be showing you guys today is a combination of Terraforged and Optifine, and more specifically, a particular setting within Optifine. And Terraforged is one of the best terrain generation mods out there because it gives you some very realistic looking terrain. But one downside with it, at least for me, is that you need to play at a pretty high render distance in order to really get the best experience out of this mod, because otherwise everything is just so big you can't really see it. So you may be wondering, what does it look like if we increase this to an absolutely ridiculous render distance? And that's exactly what I'm doing with this combination, because with Optifine you can go all the way up to 64 render distance and get the absolute most out of Terraforged. 64 render distance is pretty much overkill for any other terrain generation mod out there because you really usually can't even see that far, but with Terraforged, when you're on top of some massive mountain, you'll actually be able to appreciate just how amazing this land looks. It's a mod that's really built for higher render distances, and Optifine's going to allow you to do exactly that. And now finally, for the last combination today, we're going to be combining a couple mods to give you some more customization for your character. And the first of these two mods is the Origins mod. This mod allows you to choose between a variety of presets as you create your world, and from here on out, you're going to have several positive and negative effects from this. And some of these will completely change the way you play, whether that's making it so you start in the nether, or can only survive if you're underwater. They really do make some pretty huge changes. And in addition to this mod, I've included Player X. And this mod adds player attributes to the game, which you can use XP to level up. So for example, as you progress into the game, you can make your character stronger or faster, or several other options in order to make yourself just a little more unique. And overall, these two mods combined are really just going to give you a lot more individuality, and this is going to be especially noticeable if you play this on a server with other people. Alright, that's going to do it for this video, and if there's any other combinations of mods that you think I should take a look at because they work really nicely together, let me know and I'll absolutely take a look at them. Hopefully you enjoyed the ones I provided today, and if you'd like to check out any of the mods, you can find them all in the description below. And anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and until next time, thanks for watching. This video is brought to you by Squarespace. If you're interested in making yourself a really cool website, be sure to stick around for more. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm here with 10 more Minecraft mod combinations that work really well together. All of these mods are available for the newest versions of the game, and if you'd like to download them, you can find them all in the description below. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into the video. Alright, to start things off, we'll be combining far-sighted mobs and improved mobs. Far-sighted mobs allows mobs to see you from a much greater distance than vanilla. In vanilla, most mobs can only see you about 16 blocks away, but once you've installed far-sighted mobs, the default is 32, and this can be customized to pretty much any distance you'd prefer. So if you want every single mob in the world after you, you can configure the mod to do that. And improved mobs, on the other hand, adds many new features to mobs. For starters, there's a difficulty system, which can be disabled if you'd like, which scales up with time. The longer you play it, the faster and stronger mobs will get. Mobs can also spawn with special abilities and armor, making them even more difficult. And when these two mods are combined, things quickly get much more difficult, as enhanced mobs will attack you from greater distances. And again, the great thing about both of these mods is they're very customizable, so you can really hone in just how difficult this is gonna be. Next, we'll be using a combination of mods that I went into a bit more detail in my last video. The first of these mods is Distant Horizons, which allows you to use a render distance that's pretty much impossible in normal Minecraft. It uses LODs in order to create this effect, so the performance drop isn't as dramatic as you would expect. And in addition to this mod, I've installed Terralith, which I consider to be one of, if not the best terrain generation mods available, and Distant Horizons is compatible with all the world generation mods I've attempted, but none of them show off the distant landscape quite like Terralith does. Its soaring mountains and diverse biomes make for some truly incredible scenery. Really, the combination of these two mods has the potential to have your jaw dropping constantly. Next up, we are once again building a combination around fresh animations. This time around, we will be focusing on the zombies, and among the many other amazing animations provided from this resource pack, the zombies are among some of the best. When standing around the zombies are kind of hunched over and have a lot more motion when they pursue you. And in addition to fresh animations, we will be using Tissue's Zombie Pack, which replaces the Minecraft zombie textures with over 1,000 zombie variants. And this also comes with new sound effects, and their eyes will even glow in the dark. And the combination of fresh animations and Tissue's Zombie Pack make for some pretty awesome zombies. When they attack you, they just feel a little more intimidating. And hey, you could even go crazy and combine this combination with the first one I showed you. And if you haven't noticed yet, these are actually both resource packs, but be aware you're gonna have to use Optifine in order for either of these packs to work correctly. And also, when you load these packs, make sure to load fresh animations with higher priority, as its animations will be disabled if you load Tissue Zombie Pack after it. Up next, we'll be combining Young's Better Strongholds with End Remastered. Young's Better Strongholds replaces the very simple vanilla strongholds with much larger and more interesting versions. Rather than just having a multitude of interconnected hallways occasionally interrupted by a smaller room, you'll have huge strongholds with many interesting and unique rooms to explore. I mean, this mod makes strongholds actually live up to their title. And End Remastered, on the other hand, completely changes how you reach the end. Rather than just collecting 12 Eyes of Ender, you must search your world for 12 unique eyes in order to activate the portal. And these will be found just about anywhere, requiring you to do some serious exploring. For example, one of the eyes can be found in desert pyramids, while another is acquired once you defeat the Wither. And these two mods won't necessarily interact all that often, but they are completely compatible with one another and really help make the whole journey to the end feel a bit more epic. And End Remastered also provides a massive castle to explore, which can be found randomly in the world, and this also contains an end portal. But if you'd like to just stick with the underground strongholds, you can always just disable this in the config. Next up, we have the combination of Better Nether and Amplified Nether. Better Nether is an absolutely loaded mod that completely revamps the Nether, adding all kinds of foliage, creatures, structures, and much more to discover. It's one of the most densely packed terrain mods I've ever seen, and gives the Nether a very cool and unique appearance. It certainly doesn't give off vanilla vibes, but if you can get past that, it's a lot of fun to play with. And Amplified Nether, on the other hand, quite literally doubles the height of the Nether, adds Nether mountains, and allows vertically stacked biomes. And this results in far larger caverns, giant drops, and general just amazing sights. When you combine the two, the Nether's transformed into something truly incredible. And Better Nether does a great job of taking advantage of this extra space, and I'd honestly say Amplified Nether helps it reach its full potential. And if you want things to look truly beautiful, combine these two with a nice shader, and it will take things to the next level. For our next combination, the second half is going to be a bit more open-ended, and the first mod is Looter. And this mod makes it so chest loot is unique for each individual player that opens it. So now you can explore with a friend and both receive items. No longer do you have to haggle over who gets what. And the mod we're going to combine with this is, well, pretty much any structure mod you'd like. Whether it's Valhelsia structures, repurposed structures, dungeon crawl, or something else, you'll have a much better time exploring these with your friends. You don't need to worry about coming across the same chest, then finding yourself disappointed as the only thing that's left is some seeds or something. It's a great mod to have installed, especially with additional structure mods, as it keeps things fresh for everyone. For our next combination, we're going to start with Camera Utils, and this mod includes a multitude of features, but we're mostly going to be focusing on the customizable third-person perspectives. By pressing either F6 or F7 along with left alt, you'll open up a GUI which will allow you to completely customize the third-person view. And these sliders will allow you to set your view to pretty much the exact position you'd like, and because you can use both F6 and F7, you can have two customized third-person viewpoints. And to make these new viewpoints even more exciting, we will be using Better Third Person, and this mod makes third person in Minecraft feel silky smooth as it separates the arrow keys from the camera, allowing you to walk in a complete 360 rather than just having your camera locked behind you. And I'm sure the majority of players prefer this style of third person. It's what most games include, as it just makes things feel much more fluid. And in combination with Camera Utils, third person can really be customized to your exact liking. The next combination will be starting off with more ore stones. This mod allows ores to be generated in every single type of stone in Minecraft. Whether that's granite, andesite, or anything else, you should be able to find ores in it. So now when you see these blocks, your eyes don't just need to skip over them, as they can actually contain something valuable now. In addition to this, we'll be using Unearthed, which adds many new stone types to the game, and this immediately adds a much more variety to the landscape, both above ground and underground, and it works perfectly with more ore stones. And now technically Unearthed requires more ore stones, so I suppose I slightly cheated with this combination, but I figured because they are still in fact separate mods, they still deserved a spotlight. And I mean, they do work very well together. together. Nearing the end, we'll be combining HT's tree chop with HT's tree plant. And HT's tree chop is probably my favorite tree cutting mod out there, as it's balanced and provides a cool visual effect. Rather than just breaking the entire tree immediately or taking forever to break a single block, you'll actually see the progress towards taking down the tree. And this scales with the size of the tree, so if you attempt to cut down a jungle tree, it'll take a lot longer than something smaller. And HT's tree plant, on the other hand, makes it so a sapling that falls on the ground will immediately attempt to plant itself. And this gives forests the ability to sustain themselves on their own. And you can still plant the sapling on your own if you'd like, but it's awesome to have it as an automatic process as well. And you know, overall, this combination just makes cutting down trees a little less tedious and a lot more fun. And finally, for our last combination, we will be starting with guard villagers. Guard villagers adds absolutely kitted out villagers to the game whose sole purpose in life is in fact to guard villages. And together with iron golems, they're gonna prove to be a formidable team. But to combat this, I've included illagers wear armor. And this mod makes it so raiding illagers will arrive wearing varying levels of armor, getting progressively more difficult as the wave level increases. And this combination will lead to some fearsome battles, and honestly, you can probably just sit them out and enjoy the show sometimes. Of course, if the guard villagers end up on the losing side, you're gonna have to deal with the illagers on your own though. And that should prove to be a pretty solid challenge. If you've been thinking about creating a website, definitely check out the sponsor for this video, Squarespace. Squarespace allows you to build a great website very easily. You don't need any prior website making knowledge or anything like that. Squarespace simply takes care of the hard stuff for you. You'll have access to templates which can get you started down the right path right away. And there's templates for pretty much anything, ranging from gaming to food to technology. There should be something that is right for you. And from there, you can customize your website exactly as you see fit. So if you've found a template that you mostly like, but there's something in particular you want to change, you can easily do that. It really is just about as simple and intuitive as it gets, and honestly makes making a website fun. So be sure to head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and if you're looking to make it more permanent, visit squarespace.com/Asian Half Squat to get 10% off your first purchase. And thanks again, Squarespace, for sponsoring this video. That's gonna do it for today, and again, if you'd like to try out any of these combinations, you can find them all in the description below. That is the mod download links. And if there's any other mods you think would work perfectly together, let me know and I'll absolutely give those mods a try. I do hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and until next time, thanks for watching. This video is brought to you by Squarespace. If you have any interest in making an awesome website, be sure to stick around for more. Today, we are going to